Hi, it's Tuesday or Wednesday? Anyway, I get distracted on what day of the week it is because I'm kind of in that in-between space. We've just finished Butterfly and it's such a relief. I'm so happy that that whole project is done and it's available, and we're now building this really awesome big Butterfly Facebook group. So there's a lot of interaction going on and that feels awesome. But I'm in that in-between state where I've just let that go and I don't really want to jump right into something big next. I've got some big projects kind of in mind, but I don't want to jump right into them. So what I'm doing is working on some feathers. I'm teaching a class at NQX in the spring on feathers. And so right now I'm transferring this design to fabric. I'm going to have some stitch out samples. I'm also going to stitch this onto a quilt. And it's just fun to kind of play and experiment. This is a little feather wreath. And then yesterday I got on the machine and just sat and stitched out. You might not be able to see this because of the light box, but I was playing with trapunto. These areas are puffy and they have an extra layer of batting in there. I was playing with trapunto and experimenting with kind of stitching around it, trying different filler designs in these outer areas, just playing. And I wasn't extremely happy with it, and Josh took it and was like, what could you possibly not be happy with? And I was, nitpicking about little things. I did a pillowcase bind, so it's a flat back. I'm kind of going for art with this little guy, but it doesn't feel very, I don't know, it doesn't feel like it has very much thud factor, I like bigger quilts. So I'm kind of disappointed with it, but at the same time I can always add. I think I'm going to add some beads. Maybe some silver beads. Mostly it just seemed to come out too dark. The dark red thread was just a little too dark and it just didn't pop. But that's kind of the point. I do stitch outs like these, tests like these, not necessarily to create something perfect, but just to kind of test and see, hey, what works? And that's important. So that's what I'm working on today. You might be wondering who this is. A lot of times people see this and are like, what is that big thing behind you? It's kind of weird. Josh and my dad built this summer. It is a big air filter. And let me roll it around so you can see the back. It's made with box fans and big house filters, and it's really important whenever we're cutting in here, whenever we're cutting fabric for a quilt or batting, we turn all the fans on and it blows through the filters and it helps keep the dust down. That we realized when Dad started working here, he was coughing and sneezing a lot, that we had a really bad dust problem and we had to get it under control. And part of that also was ripping off all the cabinets in the walls and fixing these walls. I'll show you a before. Before it was pretty ugly. It's still now not perfect. This is my basement kitchen. But this was all a transition of just trying to get control over the dust, and we have air filters and stuff too. So something that you kind of want to look at if you haven't kind of looked around your studio or your sewing room in a while is how much dust you're accumulating, what you're breathing, because it's one of those things that if you're coughing a lot, there's a reason. So do something about that. So that's what I'm doing today. I hope you're having fun too. Let's go quilt.